One expert voices reservations about the future of geothermal development on the island. Dominica closer to setting up a hydromet system, and the former Attorney General weighs in on the decision to join the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction. I am Iduna Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up.
When life moves fast, you need something to keep up with you. That's why you need the MyLime app. Remember the days of lining up to top up your phone? Well, not anymore. Now you can top up to start talking the night away. How about those pesky bills for postpaid? If you'd like to look at your entire bill, press download. Do you have that friend that always spams you for phone credit? Let's send them some credit. Need to post your selfies online? How about getting a data bolt on? Using the MyLime app takes less than 10 seconds. Now go forth and text, WhatsApp, and watch videos. My life, my way, MyLime.
Time has come. Time for passion, for friends. Time to share. It's KFC cricket time. Live the ICC Cricket World Cup 2015 and gear up for greatness with KFC and Pepsi. Purchase your KFC Cricket Time meal with delicious chicken pieces, sides, and a refreshing Pepsi. And accumulate coupons to win a free Cricket World Cup inspired t-shirt. It's KFC Cricket Time. So good.
Beauty Wise on Hanover Street in Roseau carries a wide assortment of wigs and weaves, including Brazilian or Malaysian hair and Indian Remy in various lengths and styles, and Expression and 100% Canicolon for all your braiding needs. Beauty Wise offers hair products from African Pride, Revlon, and hair clippers for men in quality brands like Wall and Andes. Come to Beauty Wise for your intimates, hosiery, personal hygiene, and salon products, and a wide array of accessories in gold and silver. Beauty Wise, the wise one-stop shop for beauty supplies.
It's March Madness at Quartz. Get all for nothing and nothing to pay for 30 days. Plus, get mad deals all over the store. And it gets even better with one crazy deal every single day. So Quartz is the place to be all month long for new deals every day in the biggest March Madness promotion. Don't miss it. It's gonna be mad.
First up in the news, a regulatory expert has expressed reservations about the future of geothermal development on island. The IRC has until March 26 to make decisions on the Dominica Electricity Services Company's Integrated Resource Plan and 5-year investment plan for the electricity system. IRC decisions on Domlec's resource plan are expected to inform the company's plans for expansion and investment. But the issue of geothermal development outlined in that plan is worrying the IRC.
It has to do with the uncertainty at this time as to the status of the geothermal projects, both in terms of timing, in terms of size, and quite frankly, also in terms of cost. The Commission still does not have certainty as far as these issues are concerned, and it really has caused us to push back a little bit on the plans that have been submitted by Domlec.
Government started a geothermal exploratory project in 2011 to determine the extent and nature of the island's potential geothermal resource. Drilling of geothermal wells in the Roseau Valley followed in 2013. Domlec and government have been in negotiations to settle on the company's potential for transmitting geothermal power.
We need to have this degree of certainty in terms of the negotiations as to the timing, configuration of the geothermal plant development. And secondly, in terms of commitments, which we understand the government intends to make, and perhaps again I'm putting it as carefully as I can, intends to make regarding the funding of construction of transmission infrastructure. We're not sure, and we need some certainty on those issues.
In other developments, Dominica could have access to millions of dollars in donor funding in the future to implement activities to address disaster reduction and climate change. The World Bank has already made available $38 million to Dominica for its disaster vulnerability reduction project. Climate change negotiations happen yearly, so countries get a sense of how much money they can likely access.
And there's a big climate change negotiation that's coming up in Paris. That's COP21, where the Green Climate Fund, which is the mechanism under the United Nations Framework on Climate Change, will be operationalized. We have to develop all the proposals and submit it, and submit them to the powers that be in order to access this funding. And let's say, for instance, this funding have been accessed or identified. For a matter of fact, the process of accessing the fund will take a few years long. The donors, they don't just give you money just like this. There are certain critical requirements and prerequisites, and certain assessment has to be made in the country to see whether we have the capacity to utilize these funds.
In more news, Dominica is moving closer to setting up a uniformed hydromet network. This will better enable the country to monitor real-time weather activity. A consultant from the Wyoming State University is expected on island next week to present results from a study in this regard.
But there is no standardized or uniform system. So we have engaged a consultant to undertake an assessment, comprehensive assessment of of what exists in Dominica. And we have received his draft report already, and he'll be in Dominica next week to present his findings to the various stakeholders, so that we'll be able to, under this DVRP, to access all the equipment, well, most of the equipments, to set up a proper network in Dominica.
The hydromet system would require setting up structures capable of transmitting life-saving data in real time.
This system would enable us to see what's coming and to give a weather prediction within an hour or two, as compared we got to wait. As compared to the system that exists now, we got to wait. We got to wait about more than 3 hours to understand what's happening. We're able to evacuate people very, very quickly because we understand exactly there's a system with a significant amount of rainfall that's going to impact us.
On now to former Attorney General Henry Dyer, who is of the opinion that countries in the region should join the Caribbean Court of Justice in its appellate jurisdiction as a group instead of doing so individually.
While Belize, Guyana and Barbados have all joined the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction, Dominica is the only OECS country so far to have taken what has been described as a bold step. Earlier this month, Dominica made history when it became the first OECS country to recognize the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final court of appeal.
What we are going to have, in my view, is that in any criminal, or you don't know, in a criminal matter coming maybe in the same matter in St. Lucia, and the same matter in Dominica, what you're going to have is a final decision by the Privy Council in that matter from St. Lucia, and a final decision now in that same matter in the CCJ for Dominica. I believe that we should have finality judgments because we have one Supreme Court. So that when the Court of Appeal, which is bound by the decisions of the Privy Council, as well as it would be bound now by the decision of the CCJ, so you may have a final decision in a matter in St. Lucia coming from the Privy Council, and in a similar matter in Dominica, the final decision coming from the CCJ. As to whether both decisions will be the same, I cannot tell you.
Dyer says due to the significance attached to the State House event, it should have been a public function similar to what obtains on November 3rd, where everyone is invited. It should be noted that this function was broadcast live on radio, television and the internet. Prime Minister and OECS Chairman Roosevelt Skerrit said the decision places Dominica in the lead as far as the achievement of full independence was concerned.
Meantime, executive member of the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Musicians, McCarthy Marie, says musicians need to be aware of the benefits under the Caribbean Court of Justice. Marie points to the case of Jamaican artist Tommy Lee Sparta, who went to the Caribbean Court of Justice for redress over what he alleged was a violation of his rights upon a visit to Dominica.
Grievances between artists who want to travel to some other CARICOM country to practice their profession and they are prevented from so doing can appeal directly to the CCJ. They don't have to go to their local court first and then finally to the CCJ. The CCJ is the court that settles matters having to do with trade within the CSME, whether the trade be in services or in goods. Well, as we see with the Tommy Lee Sparta case there, it appealed to the CCJ because it's part of the CARICOM single market economy that guarantees certain freedoms for CARICOM members to move back and forth. And because he thought that his freedom, which was guaranteed, if you like, by the Treaty of Chaguaramas had been breached, he could appeal to the CCJ for redress. Yeah, so artists, he was an artist or he is an artist. Other artists can have the same access to the court if they think that a country who is a signatory to the Treaty of Chaguaramas prevents them from exercising their profession in their particular country.
Coming up, a mac and cheese recall, but local housewives told there's no need to worry. Stay with us.
Shopping is a lot easier with Courts Ready Finance. Choose what you want from our wide range of quality products and we take care of the rest. Courts Ready Finance's affordability means there's no deposit. There's no need for a lump sum of cash. It's flexible, which means you choose your payment term and you're guaranteed the lowest monthly payments anywhere. Best of all, it's easy. Easy to get and easy to pay. Shop at Courts today and get what you want hassle-free. Courts Ready Finance. Easy, affordable, flexible.
Fresher taste. Fresh new look. Also available in original, wheat, brand oat, and multigrain. Trix makes it better.
Count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. For every $9 spent on Big 4, you get a raffle ticket to enter our weekly draws to win $4,000 cash every Thursday for 6 weeks. The more you spend, the more tickets you get, the better your chances of winning every Thursday. That's $24,000 in cash. So play Big 4, count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. Only from the Dominica National Lottery. Promotion starts from February 24th to April 2nd.
Cashwiz is the one-of-a-kind pawn shop in Dominica. We'll trade all your old and used appliances for cash, grant loans applicable to the value of your vehicle and other appliances. A community service-oriented organization actively involved in building communities and empowering the young while partnering with social groups for nation building. So come to Cashwiz Dominica on the corner of Stable Street and St. Johnson's Avenue, Pottersville, Roseau. Call us today at 440-5555. Check us out on Facebook or email dominica@cashwiz.com.
Thanks for staying with us. A fire at the Fokole landfill last Friday has raised questions about the proper disposal of used tires collected at the landfill.
Conservationist Atherton Martin says the technology is available to ensure we do not have a repeat of last Friday's incident. Martin says 5 years ago he accompanied a delegation from Solid Waste Corporation to Barbados to demonstrate how that country was using available technology to manage its waste. At the time, Martin says he was an agent for a Canadian company specializing in tire shredding equipment. Martin says upon their return, the Solid Waste Board approved the idea of investing in a tire shredder.
Why would that have been important? It would have taken 1 year, 12 months for that tire shredder, working only 8 hours a day, to completely use up all the available tires in the landfill at that time. At that time, 5 years ago, there were 230,000 used tires in the landfill. Last week, there were about 350,000 tires in the landfill, because on average, Dominica produces about 85,000 used tires a year. Most of those tires go to the landfill. Some of them, unfortunately, go into ravines on the beaches and are improperly disposed of. But the majority of them, over 70%, goes to the landfill.
Martin estimates 85,000 used tires end up at the landfill every year. He says failure to reduce that volume of tires results in a mountain of the most flammable material, as tires are made from fossil fuel. He says a shredder could convert used tires into aggregate.
That tire shred could be used in this same landfill to create leaching fields, because the tire shred is much better than tarish or soil to cover garbage that you don't know how to handle yet. So that could have been immediately useful in the landfill. But more excitingly, that tire shred can be used to build the foundation of roads, can be used to backfill and to stabilize slopes that have a tendency to slide.
This is a stockpile of used tires covered with soil at the Fokole landfill. Acting manager of Solid Waste Management Corporation, Florian Mitchell, says they've received proposals from 2 French companies interested in procuring tires from solid waste. Mitchell says there was another proposal from Antigua to produce fuel from tires.
And finally, millions of individual boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese dinners have been recalled. The Kraft Foods Group has had to voluntarily recall the product because some of the 7.25-ounce original flavor boxes contain small pieces of metal. Up to news time, Kraft had received 8 complaints about the issue. But local consumers with these boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese in their kitchens can rest assured. Although, according to Kraft, it had shipped to customers in some Caribbean countries, Dominica is not among them. The recalled product pertains to the mac and cheese box dinner with the best when used by date of September 18, 2015 through October 11, 2015 with the code C2 on those boxes. OD Brisbane and Sons Distribution Center is a local agent for the product. We obtained a box from the company which contains the best when used by September 1, 2015 date with an S22 code. This does not match the information on the recalled product. Our investigations also took us to other supermarkets. HHV Whitchurch, IGA Supercenter, and Astafan Supermarket sell the Kraft product. Neither of the boxes bear the best when used date and code on the recalled product. Other major supermarkets, such as AC Shillingford Supermarket and Save-A-Lot, do not have the product in stock. Up next on the Channel 5 News, your sporting highlights.
Things are shaping up pretty nicely for this weekend's matchup between the Windward Islands Volcanoes and Guyana Jaguars. The teams are here and raring to go in what is expected to be an exciting contest of regional first-class cricket beginning Friday. Channel 5 Sports paid a visit to the nets at the stadium, where we caught up with the Windward Islands coach Ian Allen.
Well, I think the preparation, has been going well. As for the past matches and stuff, we come into the nets and work on the things that will work for us in the game. I think that is what we're trying to do, trying to fine-tune as much as possible and let the players be at a certain percentage of confidence going into the game coming up against Guyana. We know it's an important game. It's also important for us to come out on a winning note from this game, because Guyana are leading now and we are not too far from Guyana. So we just focusing on winning. We are pretty confident. We don't want to be overconfident and complacency steps in our game. We have been winning most of our matches in the past few matches. We drew against Barbados in the last game, but I think we could take away some positives out of that game. So we are pretty much confident. The bowlers, know exactly the areas that they need to bowl to get results, and the batters, compared to past season, have done exceptionally well for the Windward Islands. So we expect them to continue in that way.
Meantime, Taj Tavernier will lead Dominica into the 2015 Winlot Windward Islands Under-15 tournament to be held in St. Lucia from March 31 to April 9. The Dominica Cricket Association announced the 15-man squad this week to include the likes of Micah Joseph, Jassian Alexander, Jovan Raphael, Lincoln Durant, Bryce Lewis and Ethan Doctrove, Nigel John Lewis, Sawan Lockhart, Roosevelt Merrifield, Anakim Moreau, Jed Joseph and Savio Ansem. Sawan Auguste and Michael Revere will travel as reserves. The Windward Islands Lotteries Inc. last week signed a memorandum of understanding with the Windward Islands Cricket Board to sponsor the 2015 Under-15 and Under-19 Cricket Championships. The agreement was signed by the Winlot Chairman Murray Bullock and the Windward Islands Board President Emmanuel Nanton in Barbados. Winlot will provide a total of $100,000 to each competition for 1 year. However, the agreement is subject to an extension. In netball, Portsmouth Secondary School is well on their way to capturing yet another Sports Division Secondary Schools title. They'll take on Northeast Comprehensive School in the final of the 2015 Schools Under-14 Netball Tournament at Benjamin's Park Friday. PSS A team went up against Convent High School A at the Convent's hard court Tuesday, putting them down 53 goals to 5. Selena Langley, Malaya Toussaint and Kash Maluk all contributed to the scoring with 45 points, 8 points and 14 points respectively. In the other semi-final at Marigot, Northeast Comprehensive defeated Castlebrew Secondary 27 goals to 3. And finally, Dominica's newest FIFA officials left Dominica Thursday for Miami. Gerald George explains.
Dominica's latest addition to the 2015 FIFA list of match officials will leave Ireland on Thursday, March 19 for Miami. While in Miami, referee Romy Blah and assistant referees Sean McDonnell and Cesar Gabriel will participate in a CONCACAF International Referee Symposium. The symposium, which will be presented by Comex Footline, will run from March 19th to 22nd, 2015. The program for the symposium will include various classroom sessions with international guest speakers, field sessions, fitness activities, as well as a fun match between referees, COMEX and CONCACAF officials. The symposium is expected to play a key role in supporting the development of the new officials. Upon completion of the symposium, the match officials are expected to share their newfound knowledge with local colleagues. Just last weekend, head coach of the Under-17 boys national team, Stanton Serafin, left Ireland for a 3-month-long international coaching course in Hungary. The course is a scholarship from the Dominica Olympic Committee in collaboration with the Dominica Football Association and will take place at the University of Physical Education. Meanwhile, in action on the field in the All-Ireland League last night, Digicel Newton Academy defeated Fokole Classic 7-1 in the first match of a doubleheader at the Baffin State playing field. Giles Mitchell and Kevin Williams scored 2 goals each, with Owen Murphy, Lineker Edwards and Chris McIntyre scoring 1 each for Harlem. Jaquan Telemac got the lone goal for Fokole. In the second match, Trafalgar Academy edged out Campbell Ballers 2-1. Makion Morancy and Siobhan Dover scored for Trafalgar, with Alexin Bernard scoring for Campbell. The league continues tonight with a doubleheader at the Baffin State playing field, with Pottersville Academy taking on Haitian Angels at 5 p.m. to be followed by Buster Warner versus Wynn George Academy at 7 p.m. And in the Division 1 League, Nemesis United will come up against MV Maxano Bombers at 6 p.m. at the Dubla playing field. This is Gerald George, PRO Dominica Football Association.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. Join us tomorrow.
The weather report is next.
Thanks for joining us for this evening weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Malaika Laron. First, taking a look at earlier satellite imagery, which showed some low-level clouds which moved across the region, resulting in partly cloudy to cloudy skies over Dominica today. High-level clouds moved across the southern portion of the chain. Radar imagery indicated a shower activity mainly during the morning. 6.5 millimeters of rainfall was recorded at the Douglas Charles Airport, while 2.3 millimeters was recorded at the Canefield Airport. A reduction in shower activity was observed by afternoon. Tonight, the weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy and hazy with a few scattered showers. Tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy and hazy with a few scattered showers. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate with waves peaking near 7 feet. For the next 3 days, expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with shower activity on Thursday and Friday, while a reduction in cloudiness and shower activity expected by Saturday. For the rest of the Caribbean, expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with scattered showers. International cities forecast. Clear skies is expected in New York and Beijing, partly cloudy skies in Miami, overcast conditions in London, and rain is expected in Caracas. Tomorrow, the sun will rise at 6:10 a.m. and will set at 6:16 p.m. For more information, contact us at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing and have a pleasant night.
To end the news, the headlines again. One expert has reservations about the future of geothermal development on the island. Dominica closer to setting up a hydromet system, and the former Attorney General weighs in on the decision to join the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction. Send your questions and comments to news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Idona John Baptist. Thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow.